Repetition. The thing about repetition, oh my gosh, practice makes perfect. So just like if you read the requisites and it talks about repetition, how a baby learned to walk. The baby was crawling, and then, as he gets a little older, he starts practicing standing up, and he tries to take his first steps. Well, no baby has ever failed so many times that they just said, oh, I'm never gonna try to walk again, I'm not gonna get this. Even as a baby, that resilience is instilled in us, and we keep on doing it. I'm not gonna say we keep trying, because trying is actually not a verb. You're either doing it or you're not. So when we're a baby and we're learning to walk, we have to keep doing it over and over again. We have to keep getting up. We have to keep falling. We take a few steps, we fall back down, we think we got it, and then boom, we take 5 steps and we fall back down. So we need a little bit more practice. The thing about repetition with me, I can really see it in my speaking. I never thought that I would be a public speaker. Even back when I was taking public speaking classes in 2014, I used to be like, what am I doing this? You hate your voice. You sound so, I don't like the word country. So you sound so Southern, like nobody's even going to understand you. And what about when you make a mistake? The people are going to think you're illiterate. The three biggest fears, and this has been documented, and death is not the first one, but it's in the top 3. So death, public humiliation, and rejection. Okay, so the top 2 tier, the number one thing is public humiliation, and then you have rejection, and then death is number 3. How weird is that we're actually more scared of being humiliated than we are of death? Like, that is just so that's just so interesting to me, because when you really think about it and you give yourself the power to overcome those fears, and you're like, okay, I can do this. Why would I be humiliated? I know what I'm talking about. I'm confident. I look good, so what can they say about me? So it's like you really have to build up in your mind, and that takes repetitiveness. I constantly do affirmations. I read things to build myself as a real estate broker, as a real estate investor. That education helps to build confidence, and I keep doing it over and over again, just like with my speaking, so that when I do go out and talk, I'm not getting hot. Like I used to get hot and feel faint, like every time it wouldn't even be a speaking event. Like if they just asked me to say something and there was a lot of people in the room. Like when I first got into real estate, I got an award for having the most outgoing referrals, and they just called me up to receive my plaque. When I got in front of the sales meeting, I felt so faint. I started sweating profusely. Like, oh my gosh, it used to be horrible. But I've gotten up so many times on the spot, and I've had to speak for Mr. Dudley. He's an awesome coach if you have to get over the fear of public speaking, because he'll tell you how he was labeled mentally retarded. Yeah, of course that was a misplaced label, because this man has taken $10 and turned it into over 35 million. He has a college degree. But more importantly, he hires people who are more educated or who have more education in different areas. He hires them to work for him to keep growing his money. So he would always tell me about how now I'm getting tongue-tied. So he always tells me how he would mispronounce words, and he told me one time he had this lady and she had a notepad, and so I guess she was working in the organization, but he said that every time he would make a mistake in his speech, that she would write it down, and she would always remind him of the words that he was saying wrong. And he's like, but at the same time, this lady has a job. We're talking about a multi-millionaire. Okay, if you're making multi-millions, does it really matter if you miss that last R in the word? I think not. Like, we really have to get our minds off of the propaganda, because if it was all about education, it's showing now that, black women are like the most highly educated group. We also have like 73% of the big college debt, but at the same time, it takes us like 19 months to make what a white man would make in about 12 to 13 months, if I'm giving you the numbers right. We make about 68% of what a white male can make. So, and white women, they just make a little bit more above us. So if it was all about education, I mean, we would have a little bit more money. But anyway, to get back on track, he said the lady would just write down all the mistakes that he made, but at the same time, she had a job and he's a multi-millionaire. So that's one thing that's helped me, like, listen to Mr. Dudley's speeches, and I can hear the things that he said wrong sometimes, but the energy and what he was talking about with getting money and entrepreneurship, I'm saying to myself, I'm not gonna say anything bad about this lady because I don't know her, but I'm just like, how are you focusing on the R's and the words that, you know, he mispronounced? Like, are you kidding me? But anyway, just listening to him tell that story, it helped me in my speaking because, like I said, I'm a Southern girl. So sometimes I feel like my voice sounds like really weird and it makes me not want to speak. But hey, my voice is what it is. You either get with it or you don't. You can either follow what I'm saying or you can't. You never have to listen to me again. But anyway, just overcoming, just continuing to do it. I was gonna say keeping on doing it, but you know, I'm trying to be a little bit a little grammatically correct if I'm saying it right. Okay. So, but anyway, just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Keep on practicing. I talk to myself in the mirror. I act like I'm preaching sometimes. I act like I'm addressing a graduation class. I act like I'm talking to dignitaries from foreign countries. Like, whatever I got to do to practice my speaking, that's what I do. And I just keep doing it. So now it's kind of becoming more natural to me. I know that I have a long ways to go. But I do practice. I often write down my bullet points and I'll practice saying them. I practice the pitch in my voice because when you're speaking, you need to bring the pitch of your voice down. It doesn't need to be like a high pitch screech. It needs to be something calming that the people can follow. So you see, I'm bringing my voice down. So you have to know when to do your upward inflection and when not to. So it's best that you keep your voice, you know, at a lower tone. So anyway, those are just some of the little things that I picked up. But my point was repetition. Keep practicing. Keep honing in on your skill and keep building your confidence, and you're going to succeed at whatever that thing is you're attempting to do.